This is the state of Matt Armstrong's BMW E24. Now, in the previous video, we actually stripped most of the parts of the engine bay and we actually dropped this front cradle as well. In this video, we're actually going to tackle that rust on that chassis rail and that floor pan. Right, so this is the worst part of the rust. Now, I think the only thing holding this together was the actual undersealing. You can see the bottom of the chassis rail didn't actually want to be attached to the car anymore. Now I'm going to start cleaning this up and see how far this rust actually goes. Hopefully it doesn't go too far, and then we can start deciding how much we need to replace. Right, it's safe to say this chassis rail needs a lot of work. Now, I just thought I'd go for this top section, see what sort of condition it's in, and that needs repair as well. So all of this section down here, and all the way nearly to the back actually needs repairing. Now, we'll concentrate on this a little bit later, but I'm going to concentrate on this bottom section first and try and get some sort of structure back into this car. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill these spot welds out down here, and I'm going to cut somewhere here, and I'm going to cut somewhere up here. Now, we don't want to do the whole chassis rail in one because it takes a lot of structure out of the car, and we want to retain as much of the original geometry as possible, of course. So I'm going to cut down here, take these spot welds out, and this whole section will come down. Right, we have a bit of a situation on our hands. Obviously, cut this big section out here because it was actually rusted on the inside as well, and cut this chassis rail off. Now, looking inside this chassis rail, this part, the bottom, all of this bottom section down here is actually rusted as well. Now, what I think I'm going to have to do is cut a bit of an inspection hole on this side to then gain access into that bottom section. I was just joking about earlier, by the way, just for the record. Right, so cutting this chassis rail, I've ended up cutting a lot more out than what I originally thought I wanted to actually cut out. Now, I've taken this small bracket off, but that's not an issue because we can put the anti-roll bar on and position that exactly where we want it. The metal that's in here is now good metal, and I can use this contour on these two areas here to form that chassis rail. Now, I'm going to make all this chassis rail in one piece, but I do need to get this floor pan sorted first. So this is actually two sections of floor pan. Action. So I can start fabricating this floor pan here. I'm not going to touch this piece for now because what we'll do is we'll get it on a rotisserie first, and then we can get this piece because this is very close to the jacking point. So I'll do this and this. How's that? So we've fabricated this. So fabricated this bottom section here. Now this floor pan is actually in two sections. Now this tunnel comes all the way to here, and then it's bonded and spot welded to this section here, which forms the bulkhead. Now I've made this lower section. Now I need to make this top section here. So I also need to get obviously this little bead in here as well to make it look factory. So I'm going to take some measurements and I'm going to fabricate this top piece. Right, so made these two panels here and tacked them in. There is a little bit of a lip on this side here, which I just need to cut through here and push it up so it meets the existing, and then tack that in again. I do need to fully weld this up, and I also need to drill some holes in this section and weld these two panels together. But for now, what I'm going to concentrate on is this chassis rail. Right, so this is where we're up to with the chassis rail now. Before I do actually start tacking it together, I do need to make this little dimple here. So there's a dimple that goes from here all the way up to that top section there, and I do actually need to bead roll this into this section first before I can then thread it in, tack it, take it back out, weld it properly, and then put it in for good. Yes.